This is Tristinio here to talk about Survivor Game Changers episodes 5 to 9. Right. And yes, I'm reading off a screen here. The first 4 episodes were great in my opinion, and we lost a lot of the favourites. We do still have a few left, which is great, but I feel like the characters that left in the first 4 episodes had their story arcs, and the players that leave in these episodes have their story arcs told. And I think the editing's done that really well. They portrayed what the players did and why they got voted out and their relationships, even though they got voted out. So I say props to the editors because we've had a really great pre-merge. I'm not gonna lie. Um, so episode 5 starts with the Nuku tribe returning from tribal where Malcolm gets voted out. JT gave it away because he told his old ally Brad that the vote was Sierra, who was saved by the idol that was played on her, so Malcolm was eliminated. So the Nuku tribe distrusts JT. That and the fact he was a former Nuku member anyway, in the tribe of Mana members now, means that he's the odd man out and will probably be booted next. So JT, knowing that his back is against the wall, finds an idol, which is great for him because he can save himself if he was smart. Yeah. At Mana, Debbie has like a weird episode where she goes batshit crazy at Brad because he doesn't let her choose her position in the reward challenge, even though she performs badly in the balance section. So it's quite funny watching her go mental over nothing. Um, yeah, Ty finds an idol clue as well, which is good for him. But nothing really too personal, like interpersonal relationships, is really shown in this segment. The immunity challenge. Before that, there's a reward challenge, which is coffee. Nuku wins that, and this is important because there's sugar in the coffee, and JT and Makeda take sugar in their coffee. It sounds weird, but any reason to get somebody out in Survivor. So JT realizes that most of the sugar's been eaten, and he blames Makeda, and because he wants to target somebody else, anybody else, to save his ass. He says that Michaela's been taking too much sugar in the coffee, that everyone should vote her out for just having a bad attitude and personality and that kind of thing. But yeah, Sandra Sandra realizes that this is a good chance to get JT out as a revenge, and to keep him and Michaela fighting and the target off of her, she eats all the sugar. So JT blames Michaela. JT will be targeting Michaela. If they go to tribal, Michaela will have to target JT. So Nuku loses immunity, which is inevitable, and both of them are targeting each other. Aubrey's kind of left out of the main loop here. She goes with JT, thinking Michaela's going home. Sandra and Michaela are working together because they both want JT out, and Varna sides with Michaela and Sandra, and the vote is 3-2 against JT. Now, JT is a smart player, but he left his idol at camp, which is the dumbest thing he could have done. And I don't know why he looks shocked when there's 3 JT votes. Like, you would have think after the last tribal that his name's getting written down, but he gets voted out. It's a shame, but he had two good episodes for JT for his boot. So I'm not too upset with how JT went. But it's a shame to lose a formal winner and one of the main stars, I think, despite the pre-season already hyping JT up at all. So episode 6 begins, and Ty finds the idol in his camp. He pours water onto the tribe well, which reveals like a symbol in the wood. He digs underneath that and gets the idol in the sand. So good for Ty. He has an idol. Troyzan also has an idol, so there's 2 idols in play. In the reward challenge, there's 18 no yeah, there's another tribe spot basically, and they're back to 2 tribes instead of 3 now, and it's on the old Mana tribe is Haley, Michaela, Aubrey, and Troyzan from the old Mana go back to new Mana, and they also have Brad, Suri, and Sierra. And on the old Nuku tribe, you have the Mana members Sandra and Varna, and then you have the old Nuku members Zeke, Ozzy, Andrea, Sarah, and Ty. And Debbie sent to Exile Islands because she draws the only buff that isn't one of the 2 tribe ones. Yeah, so there's new alliances formed when these new players that haven't interacted with each other join on the beach. So Brad pulls in Troyzan with Sierra, so that's 3. You got the on the other tribe, you've got Varna and Sandra who are left out of the loop. They're on the outs, and you've got the other five. Will obviously vote one of them out because it just makes more sense. Um, yeah, just lost roles for a second there. Yeah, so Nuku tells Varna and Sandra they're going to target Ty because he has a habit of finding idols and he's seen as shady and wasn't part of the original tribe. Like when they split, he was the only one that wasn't on the Tavua tribe, so that's why they're going to go after him. This is to stop to stop Sandra and Varna from scrambling and trying to swing the vote against one of them too. So yeah, where was I? Um, yeah, Ty fires the idol in the same way on the Nuku beach that he did on the Minor beach. So Ty now has two idols in play, which is big for him. Which, if the other players knew about it, makes Ty like the power player because he has two idols, has 2 rounds he can't get voted out on, which is great for him. He has a lot of power in this game, and I don't think the edit's shown that as much. So I don't know what happens to Ty, but having two idols is bloody huge. Like, nobody holds two idols. The immunity challenge is won by Mana. Before that, there's a twist on Exile. So Exile Island is usually an island where there's an idol hidden, but you have to build your own shelter. There's no food. It's like horrible. It's basically like being stuck out in a wet storm for like a whole night. But this time it's not. This time, for some reason, it's a yacht. There's a feast and food. And Debbie's on it, and she gets joined by John Cochran, who's the winner of Survivor Karamoto. He comes in with advice and a choice of advantage. And Debbie chooses, I think, the right move. Instead of choosing like a challenge advantage or something like that, she chooses the extra vote, which is the crucial part of the game, which I think is well done to her. She can use that. She gets 2 votes at Tribal Council instead of 1 now. It's just like an in-game advantage for this season. It was used on Worlds Apart and used on Millennials. It was used on Cambodia, but I think it's been used wrong twice. So to use it right this time would be good. Wrong. I can't remember. The immunity challenge is won by Mana, and Sandra tries to campaign to give it a tie because she wants the 3 former Korong members out, or she wants to break up one of them. And Ty has connections with a lot of people on the other side, so she thinks it's best to give it a tie. Everyone else correctly thinks that they should give it to Sandra because she's a 2-time winner. She is a massive threat and holds the biggest target of anyone in the season, no question. Getting rid of her is a no-brainer because if she gets to the end, she will win again. Zeke's kind of the main driving force behind this. He has a confessional where he states people have tried to get rid of Sandra and they thought, oh, we can get rid of her later, but later never comes. So you have to get rid of her now. So at Tribal Council, Ty gets paranoid because he knows that his name has been brought up as the vote, which isn't going to happen. The vote's going to be Sandra, but Sandra and Varna are going to be voting for Ty. Ty's not happy about this and gets paranoid, and he tries to talk to Sandra and put Ozzy's name out there as the potential vote. Sandra listens, but it's more. I think it's probably more dramatic than it actually was, because the editors try and make it seem like, oh, Ty could play an idol for Sandra and flip with them, but that was in reality never going to happen. The Nuku stick strong and vote out Sandra, which is a shame because Sandra had been running the season at this point. But that ends her record of never being voted out. Sad to see it go, but she gets a round of applause, which is very deserved. She played a really good game this time round. It's really sad to see it go, sincerely. So yeah, episode 6 or 7, I forget, begins, and Varna gets a lot of screen time in this because he's trying to scramble and keep his arse in the game. So a bit of backstory for Varna. He's the only player that's played 3 times in the history of the game and never made the merge. So he's never made the merge twice. Well, he made it in Australia, but he's never made the jury, which is like the second phase. So you get the pre-merge phase, and that's like the weak players go out first. You get the jury phase, and you've got the end game. And he wants to make the jury phase to appear in the show for the rest of the time as a jury member and actually have a say and stay in the game. He's pretty desperate to make that. So that's his backstory. We'll explain some things later in the show. Yeah, he bonds with Zeke because they're both gay men and they both have a lot in common. I like Zeke as well. I think he's great. The way he bonded with Brett in Millennials, just like it's basically the same as watching him with Varner right now. That's the comparison I'm trying to make. Yeah, so in the Raw World Challenge, not really much happens. They win pizzas, and the tribe bonds over like their experiences of playing Survivor and how it affects them when they get back home, like back to reality. Because obviously the change will be massive, and explaining to their loved ones how the change has affected them and why they're different now. So everyone gets teary eyed and emotional over that. Brad seems to make some new friends over that as well. Now, yeah, at Nuku, Varner tries to get Sarah and Zeke with him to blindside Ozzy for being a physical threat and a challenge threat. Zeke apologises to Varner for leaving him out of the Sandra vote. Varner says that he would have voted Sandra whatever because he wants to keep himself in the game. He's not here for Sandra, he's here for him. Nuku loses the immunity challenge and Varner tries to scramble. Zeke thinks it makes no sense to keep Varner because that means cutting off another ally just to get Varner in as a number. He likes Varner, but he doesn't want to sacrifice his own game to keep Varner in it, which is a very logical argument, which is probably what I'd do in that situation. Varner, so he tells Varner something about not blindsiding Ozzy or working with Ozzy or whatever. And Varner turns around and tells the girls in the tribe that Zeke's lied to them. He's working with Ozzy rather than the girls. The girls are mad about this. It all gets resolved by the time Tribal comes around. And if Varner starts off by calling out deceptions in the alliances, saying that Zeke is working with Ozzy rather than with the girls. And then here's the kind of weird part and the bit that he got a lot of backlash, deservedly for. Right? He goes to Zeke, why did you not tell anybody you were transgender? which is shocking because like he's saying for two reasons this is wrong. He's saying that Zeke told no one, so Varner out him in the game is revealing personal information, which is wrong because Zeke should be the only person that tells people, that should be able to out himself, not Varner. Varner's just outed Zeke in front of his tribe and on national TV at Tribal. So there's a maliciousness behind the attack. And two, he's saying that transgenders are deceptive for not revealing. That's the deception. Not revealing his original gender shows a deception. It's not. It's just. It is what it is. I can't explain it because I don't know jack shit about transgenders. But it's wrong. So it takes a few seconds and everyone's shocked, but everyone rallies around Zeke, which is great. It's great to see because this is Zeke's shocked. He's staring like he can't believe what's happened. Everyone's on Zeke's side here, and says that Varner's crossed the line. It kind of takes Varner a while to realise that what he's actually said, because I'm not sure if he was in game, just he's hungry, he's not eating for a long time, but he's obviously not realised straight away that what he said is wrong. He's not thought about what he said before he said it, and he said a really horrible thing, which he's got a lot of backlash for. But I don't want to hate on Varner. I want to say that Zeke handled it really well. Everyone thinks Zeke handled it well. He had a speech about his metamorphosis in the game. He gained strength from watching his allies protect, rally around him. So that was the only really good thing to come out of it. Jeff Probst, the host, he calls out Varner for trying to backtrack, and he does a roll call with everyone by saying it's obvious that Varner's going tonight. He asks everyone one by one, who's going, and they all say Varner. Varner does. There's no vote. Varner just gets his torch snuffed and he walks down. So he's the last pre-merge player in the game. So episode 8, and it's the merge, which is always exciting because that shows where alliances are formed, who's going to flip, who's going to stay, or who's going to make a new alliance. Cross alliances between tribes be formed. So the first part of the episode is the merge feast. So everyone drops their buffs. They're one tribe now, and the merge feast, which is like a fuel, food for the players. It's a fucking feast. They haven't eaten for 20 days or whatever, and 2 players have to miss out on the feast, which is a cruel twist, but it's not quite up there with the Palau beginning, but it's pretty cruel. Now Brad and Ty offer to sit out, which is it's horrible for them. So players faced and alliances reconnect. So there's Zeke, Cirie, Andrew, and Sarah as a 4. And you've got Brad, Sierra, Troyzan as a 3, with Debbie, Ty, possibly Sarah. And then you've got the original Mana 3 girls, Aubrey, Michaela, and Hayley, who are kind of free agents. They haven't really aligned strongly with anyone. But they're strongest players. Aubrey's a strong player, Michaela's a strong player. Hayley's just kind of a floater. She's not really made the social connections, and she's not really formed any voting blocks with anyone. You know, she's not really done enough to keep herself in the game. It's the same with Michaela. She's just kind of, her attitude kind of turned a few people off. And because those two girls are the kind of odd women out on their old tribe, and as two of the only 4 original minor members left, they're seen as the easy vote off, because Nuku doesn't want to get rid of each other just yet, even though you can tell that there's that Sierra's faction and Zeke's faction are gonna come to blows sooner or later. They want to get rid of a minor member just now, just to make it like an easy vote off, one that everyone can agree on, kind of. So Brad wants Michaela out, and he kind of sends it around to everyone that that's how the vote should go. And Cirie wants to keep Michaela because they bond. They're 2 black women. They obviously bond over their ethnicity, and that Cirie sees herself as, you know, she can see how Michaela sees herself, because that's how Cirie was a couple of years ago. So, which is it's always nice to see with people, like interpersonal relationships, and, you know, people that from different backgrounds and stuff. Just like, you know, that's what Survivor is about. That's what makes it a good show. Watching these people that have never interacted before just come together, and watching people just form bonds and stuff. It's great. Yeah, so Cirie tells Michaela that she's going to keep her, and that her alliance is going to vote against Hayley. It's going to be a split vote between Michaela and Hayley. And at Tribal, Hayley's voted off 7-4, I think, to 2, because 2 girls vote for C, because throwaway votes. Hayley becomes the first member of the jury. Not too much really happens in this episode. It's a good episode, but as merge episodes go, it was kind of lacking. But the next episode is cracking, because it starts with, obviously Michaela's been brought into Cirie's alliance now, but the reward challenge is like a spa treatment or something from Marshall's, massages or something. It doesn't really impact the game in much way, apart from Zeke making the stupid move of trying to flip on his alliance, because he sees Andrew and Cirie as bigger strategic threats than him, and he wants to be the one controlling the vote and putting their strengths in his alliance, which he isn't doing. So fair play for him for trying to flip the game and make himself the power player and flip his position in the game. But he's alienated his allies, because the people he tells from the other alliance go back to his allies and tell him. So now he's kind of burnt some bridges there. He's pissed off Andrea. It's a stupid game move as far as Zeke's concerned, and might explain why he might not win it. Yeah, the immunity challenge is pretty good. It's the one where they have to hang on a pole. And having Ozzy in there, he's played it twice in his seasons, won it because he's a beast at endurance challenges. He holds on for an hour, and everyone else drops apart from Ty, who's also very good at endurance challenges, which he showed on his season. If you watch it, he has one incredible one where he kind of like, he pulled it out of nowhere. Yeah, so it's a really good battle between Ozzy and Ty. These like 2 people who are really good at these endurance challenges, just battling out for over an hour. Eventually, Ozzy falls and Ty wins immunity, which is big, because without really realising it, nobody really brings it up, but it's a chance to blindside Ozzy, because he has no idols, he's slightly down on the numbers, and he has no immunity necklace. So, and this is who I think has been a really good strategic player when she wants to be. But I'll bring this up later. So yeah, so obviously there's the Zeke thing, and his alliance wants him out. So Cirie, Andrea, Sarah, and I think Aubrey and Michaela are all going to vote against Zeke. But Cirie at Tribal Council throws her vote against Sierra from the other alliance. She says to stir things up. I'm not sure what it's going to lead to, but hopefully it leads to something that's going to be fun. And but here's what made the episode so great. So the camera shows Sierra and Debbie talking, and they're kind of confused about who the vote's going to be because they're not sure who to target. And Debbie brings up blindsiding Ozzy because he's a challenge threat. And Ozzy as a guy, right? He's an individual immunity beast, so he can win all these challenges. He's great at endurance. He's built for swimming on the water. He's the best water competitor the show's ever had, and he loves the survival element, which is what I love about Ozzy. He's the best player ever for the climbing trees, the hunting, just the actual survival part of Survivor. Right, and this is why it's a shame to see him go, because Debbie brings up blindsiding him, and then the next minute is for the shots of Debbie talking to all the people individually, putting in their ear at the last minute before travel. We're gonna blindside Ozzy. We have the numbers. She talks to Troyzan, Brad, Sarah, all these people that agree with her plan, and she brings it up in such a way that people go with it, even though it's last minute. So fair play to her. She shows a really good strategic side, which she did show in her original season, but you know she's a bit kooky, so obviously that gets overshadowed. So at Tribal, those six vote for Ozzy, and then before Jeff reads the votes, Debbie stands up, plays her extra vote, which is another vote for Ozzy, and then Jeff reads the votes, and it's 6 votes Ozzy, 4 votes Zeke, and then 1 vote throwaway for Zero, 1 vote throwaway for Orby from Zeke. So Ozzy goes, and we're basically at the halfway point now, which is great because there's another 7 or 8 weeks of this, and I love this show, so I want to see it go as long as it can. Ozzy's gone, which is a shame, and we've lost some good characters, but I can live with that because it looks like the players that were seen as like not deserving of being there are actually stepping up. Sierra's had a great showing. Brad's had a great character development showing. Ty's been fun as always. Debbie's been great. Cerie's still there. Aubrey's still there. Um, yeah, so I want to see how this next couple of weeks goes. But I'll say the last 5 episodes have been very good. Really enjoyed this season so far, and long may it continue.